In designing these homes, we looked a lot at the building envelope. The best things we can do for green building are to build smaller homes and build attached homes, and we've done both in this instance. And the building envelope makes a huge difference over the lifespan of a building, how much carbon emissions are going to be generated through the heating and conditioning of the space. And the elements that we've incorporated into this project are a lot of advanced framing techniques that use less wood in the wall, which is saving the wood resource, which leaves room for more insulation in the walls. And we've also done thicker walls. For the exterior walls of the development, they're all going to have 8-inch framing, and then built within the 8-inch wall, we've got 2x4s that are staggered with a little air gap between them and often horizontal bracing here. And typically, we've got 24 inch on center for the interior studs. That's throughout all the buildings. And then the outside ones, sometimes we had to be 16-inch on center because of load-bearing requirements. But on the second floors, there'll be 24-inch on center as well. You'll see that we've got no places where the front stud touches the back stud. So even in here, we've got a 1/2-inch gap, which prevents thermal bridging, which is when heat transfers through the wood from the outside of the building to the inside of the building. Then, once the plumbing, the HVAC, and the electrical are installed, our insulators will do what's called a blown-in blanket system, where they'll stretch a mesh over all of these cavities, slit a little hole in there, and they'll blow fiberglass up and down to completely fill the cavity. And it'll be amazing. Once they install that, the buildings will suddenly feel quiet on the inside. You won't hear anything outside. And it really does a great job to seal up all the areas, even behind outlets and places that bats don't tend to get to. We actually worked with our structural engineer to come up with a system where we could have a single stud on the side of the opening rather than typically 2 or more studs. And when we achieved that was to actually notch out an L in the top of the 2x8, and we have the header sitting in that L. So we don't have to have a separate trimmer and king post. That means that we only have one stud going all the way through here, and it also means that this whole area here is available for insulation, where oftentimes the header fills up the whole wall cavity and is a massive thermal bridge from the inside to the outside. So this is a really nice technique. These walls will be R31 insulation, and that gives us the level of insulation that you would be hard pressed to get with a 2x6 wall, even with exterior rigid insulation. The benefit of having attached units obviously is that they don't have an outside wall they have to heat against. They can sort of share the heat between the homes. But this is another example of a staggered stud situation where we have staggered stud both for insulation but also for acoustic reasons. So if there's making a lot of noise on this unit, they won't hear it next door. And especially with attached housing, that's one of the anxieties people have, is that they're going to hear their neighbor. We're going to end up having a 1-inch air gap between the walls, including the plates, all provide a lot better acoustic isolation than older homes would do.